Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to do some special factorings, and we are going to use some formulas for this. Sometimes we may have to use the difference of two squares. Sometimes we may have to use the difference or maybe the sum of two cubes. So let's take a look at this right here. First of all, we have 4x squared minus 49. You should always check, do they have any common factors? In this case, they don't, right? Because I don't have any numbers besides 1 that goes into 4 and 49. And this right here has x squared. This right here doesn't have any x. So, there's no common factor. We will proceed. And notice that we have a difference. And you see, here we have x to the second power. So that means it's a hint, okay? That's a hint that's telling us that we are going to have a difference of two squares situation. And to do so, let me show you guys the format. I'm going to write down this is equal to, I'll open a parentheses and make that to the second power. And then minus the second parentheses raised to the second power. And then I just have to figure out what goes into this parentheses. Because remember, to factor a difference of two squares, the formula is a squared minus b squared, which becomes a minus b times a plus b, right? You guys can see that formula on the screen. Okay, now, originally we have 4x squared. We will have to put down a 2 inside because 2 squared gives us the 4. And then I also have to have the x, so I can get the x squared. And for the 49, I have to have the 7, of course. 7 squared is 49. And then we know the factoring for this is just going to be a minus b. Namely, you take the 2x as the a, and then minus the b, which is the 7. And then you multiply by 2x plus 7. And we are done right here. 2x minus 7, 2x plus 7. That's it. And now for the second one, we have x squared minus 64. And you see, this is going to be a difference of two squares again. I will just write down this is x squared minus 8 squared. That's how we can get 64. And we can do the same thing. This is just x minus 8 times x plus 8. And with that, we are done. Okay? So they are not that bad for the difference of two squares. And I want to just mention this before we move on. If this was a plus, if we have x squared plus 64, in that case, we cannot factor it, okay? We can only factor out difference of two squares. However, if you have the third power, if this right here is a sum or maybe a difference, they are both factorable. And let me show you guys how. This is x to the third power plus 1, and we know it will be a sum, right? A sum of two cubes situation. I will write this down as something to the third power plus something else to the third power. Well, as of the first one, I need to have x. X to the third power give us that. And for 1, we can just put down 1 to the third power. It's still 1. And now, to factor out the sum of two cubes, the formula is on the screen for you guys, okay? A to the third power plus b to the third power is equal to a plus b times a squared minus ab and then plus b squared. So we'll use this right here. This is equal to, for the first little parentheses, we will have x plus 1. And then for the second parentheses, we will have a squared, which is just x squared now, like this. And be careful, right here it's going to be a minus. Minus a times b, namely x times 1. So we can just simply put down 1x, and we can just simply put down x for it. Lastly, we are going to add, this part right here is always add for the sum or the difference of two cubes, okay, for the last one. And we have to square the 1. 1 squared is still 1, but you have to remember this 1 is because we have to do the 1 squared, okay? And this is it. This right here has 3 terms. After you do the sum of two cubes formula, we have the 2-term situation times the 3-term situation, okay? A binomial times trinomial. And this right here is it. We have a difference, and you see that we have x to the third power, so it seems like we have a difference of two cubes situation. And it is. So let's see, this is something to the third power minus something else to the third power. Okay, what to the third power gives us 27? Well, the answer to that is 3. 3 to the third power is 27, and we also have to put in the x. And now, how can we get 125? I need to have a 5. And in this situation, the formula is pretty similar to the sum of two cubes. This one, it's the difference of two cubes. And you have to remember, this is going to be a minus b, so I will have 3x minus 5 times, for the second parentheses, we have to work out a to the second power, and a is 3x. So 3x to the second power, 3 squared is 9, and then also the x squared, okay? And this is just because we have to put down the 3x and then square that, okay? 3x to the second power like this. And we are going to add, okay? When you have a minus, it's minus minus plus. Plus a times b, namely this times that, 3x times 5, that will be 15x. And lastly, you have to take this and you square that, and then we have to add that part. So we add 5 squared is 25. And once again, this right here is because we have 5 squared. And this right here, it was because we take the 3x times the 5. Okay? So this right here is it. This is how we factor the difference of two cubes, the sum of two cubes, the difference of two squares. And with that, that's it.